Oh, if only I had another female superhero to help fight back. We are now in a shared. Would you have some superhero music? Just anything. If we were in a shared, Stephanie Miller and Allison Gill cinematic universe now of liberal superheroes. She joins us now, Allison Gill from Mueller, She Wrote podcast. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Steph. Oh my goodness.
It's like Wonder Woman and Catwoman have finally, I don't know, something, right? Travis, help me.
More like Black Widow and Captain Marvel. Let's go there.
Oh, which? Yes! Okay, here we go.
One of you can be Deborah Winger and one of you can be Linda Carter.
So we obviously, I think I read your tweets almost every day on the air. So we've obviously been mutual fans of each other for a long time, and we realize we have all the same beloveds, right? We have all of our guests intersect. Glenn Kirshner, I just read Renato Mariotto's quote about what's happening with January 6th. And so, where's my butter commercial music? We have an exciting announcement first before we get to all the... The Sexy Liberal Podcast Network is joining forces with the mighty MSW, your podcast empire. So this is very exciting. Talk to us about this for a second.
Yeah, back in March, I launched, inspired by the work that you've done in your life. It's women in media.
Yep.
And I launched the independent MSW Media Network. I came out from under the networks that I was on, and I started my own.
Yeah. And I've always loved your podcast, been on it, and you obviously been on our show, but you came to us too with the idea of, look, we have so many, and I think, Allison, what we talk about every day, and I'm sure you've done it too, what we just were saying about, the mainstream media is just of no help with the both sides do it stuff and normalizing treason and all the things you've been talking about for years, that, we're joining forces because that's how look, conservatives bought a zillion radio stations back a million years ago. So podcasting is the way we've been able to fight back, right? And we were just saying there is strength in numbers, whether it's for ad sales or joining forces or cross promotion or all that stuff. So I'm just so happy we, finally sort of, it really is like superpowers combining, because this is not hyperbole, right? To say we're one issue voters and the issue is democracy. Are we going to have a democracy in 2022 and 24, right?
Yes, and can they hire you for messaging to help them with messaging this
year?
If they want fart jokes as well.
We've been trying to throw her at them for years and years and years, and they won't take her.
Jamie Harrison didn't take her up on it yesterday.
Listen, I have a travel fart machine. I just want you to know. Look at this. Right? I don't have to be bound to this studio. Allison, all right, but let's talk about, all right, so that's very exciting. We're going to have, both be under each other's umbrella, and it's very exciting. And I think, I'm biased, but I think we know the smartest, funniest liberals in America that are on both of our networks that are now combined. So anyway, sexyliberal.com, and where is your website?
MSWmedia.com.
Yay.
MSWmedia.com. Hooray. Superheroes together. So this broke right before you came on. I swear to God, what I feel like is we're getting desensitized, right, by what has been normalized. Outright treason, that we just go, oh, okay. Mark Meadows possessed an insane blueprint for the military seizing ballots after Trump's 2020 defeat. One side explains how the National Guard in each state would be federalized to count only legitimate paper ballots. Meanwhile, U.S. Marshals would be tasked with providing a protective perimeter around the locations. A trusted lead counter would be appointed with authority from POTUS. Guard units, support from the DOJ, DHS, and other U.S. government agencies needed to complete a recount in all 50 states. Other recommendations include declaring a national security emergency. All electronic voting would be declared invalid under the plan, and NASA astronaut was slated to lead that task force. Oh my God. Your thoughts? She's rubbing her face.
Right.
For those of you just listening, she has taken off her glasses and is rubbing her face.
It's an accurate response.
it's first of all, this is entirely shocking. We just got this document, Steph, and we've just been going through it, and it's terrifying. It's something out of like a Schindler's List, but with the Three Stooges.
See, that's why we realized we had to work together. Because that, right? Yes, that is, and I have that.
Yeah.
Don't believe we have any sound effects from Schindler's.
And I could put the Schindler's List theme song with the wise guys over it.
But I mean,
go ahead.
It's somehow dark and terrifying, but with a yakety sax feel to it.
Right.
Right.
A military seizing ballots, and we know, Steph, that weeks before the election, after the election, he pulled out Esper and put in Christopher Mueller, who wrote that memo basically kneecapping any law enforcement reaction. We're learning now about Charles Flynn and General Piat from that memo that said that they purposefully held up the DC National Guard deployment. It's everything that we thought, but to see it in black and white, to see it like this is stunning. And I hope that people aren't desensitized to this. But we will see how the committee and the Department of Justice respond to this.
Well, your tweets, you say the 1-6 committee has gone out of its way to accommodate Meadows. As a former chief of staff, he has a better, albeit non-existent, claim to privilege. All of those concessions will likely allow the DOJ to indict him without fear a conviction could be overturned on appeal. And you also said a judge is not going to look kindly on Meadows skipping out on a subpoena over executive privilege and then showing up on Fox News to talk about all the stuff he said was privileged. $50 says the Fox appearance ends up as evidence. And your beans are usually correct, ma'am. Many of your beans.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, that's just evident from how many of his tweets showed up on the Mueller report or the Senate Select Senate Committee on Intelligence report on the Russia stuff. So it stands to reason.
Well, yeah, you said he just keeps blowing up his privilege argument by talking about that he claims is privileged. LOL. Yeah. It makes sense. You can't write it in a book and go on Fox News and talk about stuff that happened on the 6th and then say, oh, no, it's privilege. So, all right. And we know the lawsuit is bull. It's just all about delay. It's all about trying to delay. I know, AG, you frequently, though, sort of counsel people to stop talking about, just screaming about the January 6th committee or Merrick Garland or whatever it is. I mean, you obviously said the DOJ is the arbiter of criminal prosecution and they must prosecute the coup. So you agree. But what is your take on what is happening? Because obviously there's a lot happening we're finding out that we don't know about. I mean, they're pretty much coming out and saying, yeah, we already have the stuff. We have the texts and the emails and the whatever. So there's a lot, witnesses, documents that we don't know about yet, right?
Oh, 100%. And that's as it should be. In U.S. v. Lind, Supreme Court 2002, you don't want to give the criminal defendants an advantage at trial by trying stuff in the media. It needs to stay behind closed doors. And this has just been a long known DOJ policy anyway. You don't talk about ongoing investigations. And yeah, I'm trying to quell
CC James Comey. Yeah. Go ahead.
Bill Barr, Mike Sherwin. But, I'm trying to quell the institution bashing, because I'm constantly reminded of Timothy Snyder's book, On Tyranny, Chapter 2, Defend Institutions. They're the pillars of our democracy, and Trump did his best to tear down the Department of Justice by politically activating it and making it corrupt. I don't want to continue that down that path. We need to strengthen the Department of Justice, but we also were very frustrated because the Department of Justice operates in secrecy and at a snail's pace. So, but we did learn.
But AG, I'm specifically curious your take, as I am every day, which is why I'm so excited we're working together. Because don't I, Travis? I'm like, what does AG think about this? Because that's how obviously I and many people got to know you, was during Mueller. She wrote the podcast you originally launched back in the Mueller days. What is your take on? It's like Trump is daring Merrick Garland to charge him with obstruction. He's like, oh, did you not hear me on Lester Holt? Let me say it again on Fox News. I fired Comey to stop the Russia investigation. I don't understand how we just say, that's okay. 10 counts of obstruction by a president is okay.
Well, that's one of the things that upsets me. We sacrificed a lot to get volume 2 of the Mueller report. Mueller sacrificed a lot by trying not to get fired. He didn't go after the money. He didn't subpoena Trump. He didn't ask follow-up questions to the written questions. We sacrificed all of that and saying that he committed obstruction of justice, coming right out and saying it. He didn't do that either. And he risked all that to get the obstruction of justice charges all teed up for criminal prosecutors to take action after Trump left office. And they're just sitting there, I think, collecting dust. They might be doing stuff like maybe bringing McGahn into a grand jury. They did have to wait until November 5th to get the U.S. attorney, Biden's appointed U.S. attorney, into D.C. Because Howley and Cruz and the like have been stonewalling every single one of his appointments at the detriment of national security. So there might be some delay because of that, but just waiting for the new USAO doesn't preclude the Department of Justice from acting on these beautiful, fabulous, clean, delicious obstruction of justice charges.
Yeah. One of our mutual beloveds, Harry Littman, said this detail might be a big part of the explanation. Meadows produced some 6,000 emails, including even a few useful ones, but withheld his text messages. So the committee subpoenaed them from the service provider. That's when Meadows balked. It sounds like there's some great stuff in there, which is obviously a lot of some of these bombshells we're hearing this morning. But here's the thing. Kurt Bardella said, get your take on this, AG. Democrats in Congress understand that Steve Bannon and Mark Meadows do not think you have the stomach for this fight. They think they can outfight and outlast you. They do not fear you. Invoke inherent contempt right now and arrest them. You need a show of force. One of our main beloveds, Glenn Kirshner, retweeted that and said yes. Where are you on inherent contempt? I'm sort of on all of the above, every arrow in your quiver with what we're up against. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. Although, per the lead counsel in the first impeachment, one of the many impeachments, Daniel Goldsmith.
Yes.
Do you remember him?
Yes.
He says, and he's shown, and Congress the House has agreed, that in order to invoke inherent contempt, there's currently no constitutional due process rules in place in the House to use inherent contempt. And they have inherent contempt power, but they have to have the due process rules in place. Ted Lieu, another one of our friends, has written the resolution for inherent contempt due process. But looking at it, it's only fines. So first of all, they would have to pass rules to use inherent contempt. And then I don't even know that it would likely imprison anybody. So I do want them to use inherent contempt, but they can't right now the way that it is. And I also have to say, I have justice crushes on Jamie Raskin and Adam Schiff.
Yes, me too.
And they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant prosecutors and lawyers.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to go with criminal contempt and not inherent contempt, I have to sort of go with them. And Adam Schiff just said last night, hey, it's not about when Bannon goes to trial. It's about the fact that he was indicted. We sent a message with that. The Department of Justice, sent a message with that indictment. That was the important part. Of course, the trial is the important part, but who cares whether Bannon serves his 30 days in July or April? I mean, he'll be right back out on the street doing his thing. We need to go after them criminally for their plot and their attempt to overthrow the government. This is just the contempt stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of justice crosses, Clint Kirshner and his giant gavel. Just saying. I
got to hold it.
I beg your pardon? You got to hold Clint Kirshner's giant gavel?
I got to hold it in D.C.
You little minx. You little...
We're about to have a girl fight.
Yeah, we're about to throw down now.
Photos of me holding Glenn Kirshner's giant gavel.
Listen, in every superhero movie, as you know, Travis, there's some healthy competition.
There's that part where they have a misunderstanding. They fight amongst themselves.
Wonder Woman
solve
and
their problem.
Supergirl. We're gonna have a little throwdown over
It's all the time.
Green
it's
Lantern or whatever. Okay. But this is what you said. I love this. You said on a scale of blind faith to total despair, most of us are somewhere in the middle, and it changes sometimes hourly, right?
It does. I'll slide up and down the scale. But like, for example, when I'm pretty close to blind faith when it comes to Raskin and Schiff.
Yeah.
I am somewhere closer to despair when it comes to Department of Justice, but we just found out last week. For months, Merrick Garland is at a grand jury impaneled and put Molly Gaston, the assistant U.S. attorney for D.C., in charge of politically charged cases. criminal investigations surrounding the attack on the Capitol. She'll be handling Meadows. She handled Bannon, and she's looking into Sidney Powell, the Kraken lawsuits and how they were funded. And she met with Charles Flynn, Mike Flynn, Patrick Byrne, Donald Trump. So they're have to be part of this investigation.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that but whatever it is, he's been doing that for months, and we didn't hear a peep. And so that tipped me a little bit back over to the side.
Speaking of Charles Flynn, who could have seen that plot twist coming? That the brother of the insurrection guy, Michael Flynn, talking about overthrowing the government, was in fact maybe a big liar about what happened on January 6th. It seems like we might need to hear from him.
Yeah, I think him and Piot. I tweeted months ago, like, keep your ears out for the name General Piot. This guy, has some things. One less
bean, please. Is Louis DeJoy are we going to get a fired Louis DeJoy for Christmas?
Yeah, I think so. I'm still trying to verify whether or not Biden's 2 new picks to replace Bloom and the other guy have been confirmed. I think they have. Their terms were up yesterday, December 8th.
Yeah.
I don't know if by Christmas.
Okay.
This is a government, y'all.
Yeah.
Boxing Day.
It's government,
We'll take Boxing Day.
Yeah. All right. Can I have my superhero music? The Stephanie Miller, Allison Gill cinematic universe has melded, in case you haven't heard. And when I'm on your show, of course, it'll be the Allison Gill, Stephanie Miller cinematic universe. You will always get top billing.
Yes.
But the Sexy Liberal podcasters, and Dana Goldberg is already hosting, is your fantastic co-host, our weekly regular
She's
Dana
joining
Goldberg.
us in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes?
Yeah, on the Daily Beans. Yeah,
on the Daily
right.
Beans, which is fantastic. Oh my God! I heard. I mean, I knew of you from that and Mueller, she wrote.
Yep.
Stephanie Miller's Happy Hour, Bob Seska, Frangela, Hal Sparks, John Fugelsang, Kimberly Johnson. We have a cinematic universe of shows.
Right.
Yours, you have obviously the aforementioned Glenn Kirshner. Tell us who else on MSW.
Oh, Renato Mariotti. I just want to name all your shows now.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, they are all under the same umbrella now, and please, this is how we fight back. Download all of these podcasts. This is what keeps us all. Yeah.
Frank Figluzzi.
That's right.
Frank Figluzzi.
Glenn
Yes.
Kirshner. Yeah.
Yes.
We've got a great lineup.
Download all of them, right? Give them all 5 stars.
Yep.
If we join forces, that helps our ad sales. It helps us keep all these amazing voices out there, including Allison Gill and her fantastic universe over there.
MSmedia.com and sexyliberal.com. MSW.com. MSWmedia.com
and sexyliberal.com. Okay.
Yes.
We love you, Allison. I'm going to see you regularly, I hope. Okay.
Oh,
Mwah.
absolutely. I'm going to be in Los Angeles a lot. So I will come
in studio next time.
We'll make it
okay.
happen.
All right. Love you, honey. There she goes.